I have read a lot of books over the past 5 years, and quite a bit this year. A lot of them I liked and loved, and others not so much. Some of them I've not finished because I didn't like them so much. There are books that I've read that have surprised me, that weren't originally on my radar, like Boy's Life and All the Pretty Horses. I don't really plan my reading, not with a list or a TBR. Most of the time, I like to just approach my bookshelf and look at it, pick a book, and dive in, and be surprised. But sometimes I will plan ahead. I'll be in the midst of a book, maybe a few chapters left. Another book will pop in my mind that I'm like, hey, why not? Why not dive into that next? And this year, there have been 3 books that I have been anticipating. One of these books I've already read, and that's The Last Unicorn by Peter S. Beagle. I'm sure you've heard me talk about this book quite a bit on my channel. Long story short, I was in the midst of reading Wheel of Time, and that took 2 years of my life. And I knew the exact book I wanted to dive into next when I finished Wheel of Time, and that was The Last Unicorn. And boy, did it deliver. I loved every single bit of this book. Every word, every sentence, every moment. This was one of the most beautiful books I've ever read. And I've said this quite a few times on this channel. I have no idea why no one is talking about this book. This is a 1968 fantasy classic, and I barely hear anything about it on BookTube. So I'm here to tell you, go out and buy this book. At a used bookstore, at Barnes & Noble, off Amazon, buy it and read it. And when you're done reading it, open it up and read it again and again and again. So metaphorical and philosophical in its themes and messaging. And I think it's so rewarding to reread over and over and over again. So that was the first book. Now, these other 2 books are my most anticipated books of the year. And I know we've got 3 months left of 2025. How can that be? Again, I've enjoyed a lot of what I've read this year. But I think when I push a book off and set it aside, and each time I set it aside, I anticipate it more and more. I'm eagerly awaiting that story and that new journey to go on. And when October 1st hits, Something Wicked This Way Comes by Ray Bradbury. I wanted to read this book last year, but I was busy reading Stephen King, Pet Sematary, and Salem's Lot. And the past few videos I've made, I've mentioned how I read Ray Bradbury way back in high school. I don't remember much. I didn't care for writing styles or reading for that matter. I wanted to play video games. So, as a 31-year-old adult, I am so excited to dive into this book. A dark, poetic, and beautiful horror story. Really don't know much about this book, aside from friends getting lost in a cursed carnival. And I like going into books without knowing much, as spoiler-free as possible, so I am surprised. My wife called me. I was shaving. She was on her way to work, and she said it rained. There was a pocket of rain just pouring right where she drove through. Fall is near, and oh boy, what a perfect book to dive into during fall time. Last month, I was on a little Western kick. I read True Grit and All the Pretty Horses. Both phenomenal books. And before those 2, I never read a Western. And when I think of Westerns, and when I look up books on BookTube and articles online, the best Westerns to read, well, there's one book that pops up all over the place. And that is Lonesome Dove by Larry McMurtry. I don't know how to say his last name. But Lonesome Dove, this is the book that I keep hearing about over and over and over again. For those of you who have followed alongside my reading journey will know that I love characters, well-written characters, and slow-paced stories. Naturally paced, when they are paced like day-to-day life, where the ordinary and mundane are the focus, not the spectacular and extraordinary. I love when a story takes its time to develop and allow things to breathe. And I've gotten many comments and suggestions and recommendations to read Lonesome Dove. This sounds like the perfect book for me. It sounds like it was written for me. And I recently had a live stream with Mike's Book Reviews, and he gave me a little pitch on Lonesome Dove. And he said it's probably the best character work he's ever read. That's a lot coming from Mike. With how many books Mike reads, and he says Lonesome Dove is the best character work he's ever experienced, that's all I need to hear. Mike tells me that the first 200 pages, literally nothing happens. It's just campfire stories and talking. That sounds perfect. I'm not reading Lonesome Dove alone. I'm reading it with John from Talking Story. I think he was a big reason that this got pushed up on my radar. And I'm looking forward to not reading it alone, reading it alongside him and having discussions, maybe having a live stream or two. This past year, I've just learned to slow down, sit in the quiet, savor those slow, mundane moments of life. And that's what I crave and yearn for in my stories. So when I think of Lonesome Dove and that slow, methodical pace, I even have a little cowboy mug that I picked up. Perfect for diving in to a magnificent, epic Western. These are my most anticipated books of the year 2025. Lonesome Dove, Something Wicked This Way Comes, and The Last Unicorn. I feel like I'm a little kid on Christmas morning. So excited. What have been your most anticipated books this year? Have they delivered? And are you still anticipating any more books for the rest of the year? Let me know. Let's talk about it.